This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal, health, tax professional advice. We are not responsible for any losses, damages, or liabilities that may arise from the use of this podcast. This podcast is not intended to replace professional medical advice. The views expressed in this podcast may not be those of the host or the management. This podcast may contain adult themes, so parental discretion is advised. So, good morning, good morning. Today we have Sally Bisbee. And she's a certified life coach and owner of three or more business. I think there's one that she had transferred over and doing something else. So we talk about that a little later in the podcast. So Sally knows the chaos of motherhood all too well, but instead of letting stress take over and no, she cracked the code and built the simplified method to help moms reclaim their time and happiness. Sally helps mom cut clutter, set boundaries, and create habits that make life easier. Today, she's here to share her wisdom, her humor, and real life solutions for finding joy in motherhood. Get ready for an episode full of aha moments and game changing advice. So, welcome, Sally.
Thank
It's a
you.
pleasure
Thank you
to
for
have you.
having me. It's a pleasure
Yeah,
to be here.
yes. Would you expound a little bit? Because I know you have some businesses in addition to being a mom and all that, and you're, a certified life coach. You want to expound on that a little bit for them to see how busy you are with all that, what's going on?
Absolutely. Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. So I'm Sally. I own Simply Sally Company. I am a mom of three. My oldest is 22, my middle is 9, and my youngest is 6. So I've got a span of ages. I've been a mom for a long time. And I've been a business owner for the past 11 years. 11 years ago, I started a craft business, actually, where I'm sitting down in my craft room. If you happen to watch a video, if you're just listening, you won't see it, but I'm sitting in my craft room. So I own a craft business. I make custom items, so anything you can put words on, shirts, cups, signs, canned koozies, really anything you can personalize. And that started out of just creative passion of mine and really a passion of I don't do well sitting still, and I needed something to do at night when my kids were sleeping. And I love that. And then for the last 8 years, I ran an in-home daycare while my younger two were little, but very happily sent my youngest off to kindergarten this fall and retired from in-home daycare this past
There you go.
fall, which was a very happy moment. Daycare was a huge blessing in my life, but I always tell people I never dreamed of being a daycare lady. It wasn't my dream. It was something in the season of life that worked really well for my family and afforded me to be home with my kids, but still bring in an income. And so this past fall, knowing that daycare was coming to an end, I was like, well, what's next? And so about 2 years ago, I came across this idea of life coaching, and it's what brought me into life coaching was really just a passion for helping people. I have a degree in psychology. My whole life passion has always been to help people, really help people just live their best life and be happy. And I'm a glass like 90% full all the time, like make the best of everything. And so my passion is just helping overwhelmed moms figure out how to just navigate the stresses of motherhood with more ease and make life not so stressful because we know as moms, life gets stressful. And then
Okay.
because those two weren't quite enough, I also started a home organizing business this past fall where I go into people's homes and actually help them organize and just declutter. And so it really kind of goes hand in hand with my coaching because much of my coaching is really teaching moms how to declutter their life, not just physically, but also the mental stuff that clutters up our life and makes life more difficult than it needs to be.
And when you realize that you were sick and tired of being sick and tired, and when you said something had to change, what was that moment?
Yeah. So for me, it was really, I always tell people my kids were about 2, 5, and 17. So I was in the throes of like little kid, toddler, preschool era, and then my oldest was teenage drama and all that stuff. And I just remember waking up And I told my husband, I'm like, I feel like I'm drowning the moment I wake up. Like I just felt so behind, like I couldn't catch up, like life was just too much and I wasn't enjoying life. I wasn't my happy self. And that was when I knew something was really wrong and something had to give. And I just told myself, I'm not gonna live the next like 16 years until my kids graduate and move on to college. I'm not gonna live like this. And so it was really a choice that I made of something's got to give. And my big thing I always tell people is the only person that is in your happiness is you. And so, like, okay, it's up to you. Nobody's coming to save me. Nobody's coming to change. If I'm not happy with how life is, I need to change it. And so I just started really making some simple changes in my life, which is really what the Simplify method was born from, was really just how do I get rid of unnecessary stress in my life to make my life easier, run smoother. Like the kids are still there. I love them, but having kids is a lot and those stresses are going to be there. But just finding that way to get rid of any unnecessary stress so that when new stresses came up, I could just deal with that stress. And so that my days ran with more ease. Um, and honestly, since then, I always tell people I have 3 kids, I run 3 businesses, and somehow I still have time for myself every single day because it's what's important to me, and I made it happen, and I think it's possible for everybody. It's just a matter of how bad do you want it to happen.
Tell us about this Operation Happy. What is this Operation Happy?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't do that
So
mission. Mission sounds
yeah,
like a Mission Impossible.
yeah, it does a little bit at times, yes. So honestly, in that moment when I woke up, when my kids were that age where I was feeling like I was drowning, I did 2 things. I made 2 lists. I made one list of everything that was stressing me out. What was causing me stress? All the housework, all the just stuff that the kids needed, all the stuff I was doing for the kids all the time and not taking care of myself. And then I made a second list, which I called Operation Happy. And it was really what were the things that made me happy? What made me happy outside of being a mom? I love my kids. I love being a mom. Being a mom was literally my life mission and I've accomplished it and it's great. But there's a lot more to it than you realize before you become a mom. And and so Operation Happy was really about writing a list of things that made me happy, that filled my cup, that re-energized me. One of the things I always tell people, I'm super extroverted. I love people, but at the time I was running a daycare and I was around little kids all day long. And I had very little adult interaction aside from when parents dropped off and picked up, which many of those parents still to this day are good friends of mine because I talked to them because I needed that energy from them. And so I made it a mission to one time a week, I make sure that I have a night out with friends. That whether it's just planning a night for dinner with a girlfriend or going shopping or doing some event, I make sure that happens. And, there was a lot of mom guilt about it in the beginning about taking time away from my kids. And then I thought, why? Like my husband is an avid fisherman and I love him and I married him knowing that. And he goes fishing a lot. Um, and I always tell people, do you think he feels guilty for 1 second when he goes fishing? Not for 1 second. He doesn't feel guilty. And he shouldn't because he has every right to
Right.
go do the thing he enjoys. And so it's
Right.
like, why do I feel guilty? Also, I'm home with my kids all the time. I know it's different when you work out of the house and you're away and all that stuff. I've been a working mom out of the house. I've done work from home, work from out of the house, work for myself, work for a corporation. Um, but still, like we deserve that to take care of ourselves. And I think that reframe a lot was a lot of my thing. And I also know for my kids that when I take care of myself and make myself happy, I show up as a better mom, which is the most important thing to me too, to be that happy present mom that I want to be. And so finding that those things that made me happy and putting more of them into my day, it really has been a game changer for me.
So, are there any funny moments when your children realize you shift from overwhelmed mom to Operation Happy Mom? Are there any funny moments you have to share with us? You could share with us?
Any funny moments?
Yes, when you realize that you're not the overwhelmed mom anymore, you're in the
Sure.
Operation Happy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have any super funny moments with that. I think for me, I know my kids notice it. I know that they notice when I go out and then come home. how like refreshed I am and how I show up as being just a calmer, more present mom, and how I always thought, oh, I'm never going to be that mom that yells at my kids. And then you have kids and you realize like, yep, definitely going to be the mom that yells at times. Like you just, let's be honest, it happens. I wish I never yelled at my kids, but there are times I certainly raise my voice. And so they see, thank God, that when I go out and take care of myself, that I'm like, okay, I got a little break, I got a little breather, I come back good. So I like to think that they see it, they notice, they see that change in me, and I love being able to explain to them too the importance of like this. I have a life outside you guys. Like you guys
Yeah,
are my world, but I have a life outside of you, and I want you to know that when you're a grown up too, that it's okay as a parent to have a life outside your kids. I think we get very wrapped up and forget that we're allowed to have a life outside them. And so I love being able to show them
okay.
and show the women I talk to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, explain the simplified method for us. I know it's a little bit more complicated, but the
Yeah.
the thousand foot
Yeah.
version
Yeah,
of
for
it.
sure. So
Right.
really the basis of the simplify method is really just identifying where your stress is coming from and getting rid of unnecessary stress. And so I was told moms like, would you rather deal with a toddler tantrum when you also have 5 loads of laundry and dishes in the sink and a messy living room? Or would you rather deal with a toddler tantrum when the laundry is caught up on and the dishes are clean and the living room's clean, right? It's it's getting rid of that unnecessary stress. It's creating systems and routines in your life that work. One of the things I talk about a lot, which isn't glamorous by any means, but laundry. Like I do 1 load of laundry every day. I rarely do laundry on weekends anymore. I just do 1 load of laundry start to finish during the week every day so that I'm never behind on laundry. We clean up our house every night, the common living space, living room, kitchen, entryway. We just do a quick cleanup so that when we wake up in the morning, it's clean. And just, really just how do you that the whole simplify is looking at all the aspects of your life, not just the physical. Sure, like physical clutter adds a lot to our life, but what does our schedule look like? What do our responsibilities look like? Are we doing it all ourselves? Are we asking for help? Those kind of things, and really just honestly simplifying your life. Like, let's make it easier. Let's get rid of anything unnecessary and then figure out a way to just have consistent routines that make your life run more smoothly and on autopilot so that when unnecessary stress comes up, we can just deal with it.
Based on your experience, what is the first piece of clutter, either physical or mental, that overwhelmed mom should tackle?
Yeah. For me, I think visual clutter is a big thing. And so when we think about our environments, when our environments are messy, our minds are messy. And so the best advice I could give is start small. Don't think like I'm gonna declutter the whole kitchen tonight. Probably not gonna happen unless that comes naturally to you. And so a lot of times visual clutter, like literally set a timer for 15 minutes and see what you can do in 15 minutes. Start with a junk drawer or, kitchen counters are a big thing. Most of us unfortunately spend a lot of time in our kitchen. And so getting rid of that visual clutter that's on the counters, because when we can create an environment around us that is free of clutter, it helps a lot with that, the mental clutter, the constant overstimulation, those things that we're feeling. And so just by starting small and getting rid of some of that visual clutter, I think it really has a ripple effect of getting rid of some of the other clutter in your life as well.
What simple habit moms can implement? Moms listening now, what is one simple simple habit that they can create that to create more free time?
Yeah. For me, it's consistent things. It's that for me, I do laundry 1 load a day. I wash my towels every Tuesday. I wake up on Tuesday and I just know that's the day I wash towels, so I don't have to think about when did I do it last? Has it been a week? Has it not? I wash sheets on Monday. Setting those consistent little habits
Hmm.
might seem silly in a sense, but it really is easy. And as a mom, you see those memes of like, we have 1,472 tabs open in our brain at any time we do. Like, you're always thinking of everything. And so
Right.
those things that you can take out of your brain and and make easy and consistent, just helps take some of the stress out of our mind, which is a good place to start.
Okay, so you sort of went into a segue to the other question. The other question I had for you was, give us a peek behind the curtains of what your personal morning routine is and how does that set the pace for your day?
Yeah. Yep. The morning routine, for me, a lot of times really starts with the evening routine. I'd almost say our evening routine here is more important
Okay.
because we do a 5 minute, we call it a 5 minute. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes, sometimes it takes 15, but we do a 5 minute cleanup here every evening so that when I wake up in the morning,
Right.
we wake up to a clean house. And I think, it's summer now, life is different. My kids are home. I know some people have to still bring their kids to childcare during the day, but during the school year, especially, we wake up and have a set amount of time that we have to, eat, get dressed, get ready, get on the bus. And so by having that evening routine where I pack the kids' snacks, I make sure their backpacks are ready, I make sure the house is picked up and ready so that when we wake up in the morning, we actually have a smooth routine,
Mhm.
that just sets our day up for success. And for me personally, another thing that I do is I always write a top three list of like, what are the three things I have to slash want to get done today so that I know like these are the things I'm going to get done. And then anything else on top of that is bonus. But just having a little bit of a plan for a day always helps my day run more smoothly.
So basically, it's for the person to, depending on what's happening in the person's household, they probably need to sit down and then, you know, write out the stuff that they need to do and then sort of build a routine around it. Basically, what you're saying. Bec-
Yep.
bec- Because technically, when I think about it, like normally for me, the work, I will go through all my emails, answer all my emails that I make sure I don't have anything outstanding for the following morning, which is basically what you do. You set the pace already that, you just tackle what comes in the following day as opposed to having, everything there to
Yep.
do. It's
Yep.
similar. I could draw the parallel there.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about hacks. So, sometimes you see these hacks that they put in, especially on Facebook and TikTok and all those things. Are there any credible hacks that you found from any of these?
Oh. I always tell people, here's the biggest thing. You have to do what works for you and your family, right? I mean, every
Right.
family is different, and I could sit and preach till I'm blue in the face about the things that work for me and they might not work for you because I'm super type A and I'm able to keep up on stuff. The biggest thing I would say is do that one load of laundry a day. The people that I've coached and talked to and have helped through that, they're like, that is a game changer, not
Yeah.
having to spend your weekend doing laundry. And you're like, okay, do that. Another hack, which shouldn't be a hack, but stop trying to do it all yourself. Ask for help. One of the
You're
biggest game
right.
changers at our house is my husband and I have been together for over 14 years. And a few years ago, I finally was like, why do I do so much stuff? And it isn't that he wasn't willing to do it. It was just that I did it. And he knows I'm
Yes.
super type A and I like things my way and stuff. And finally, I just sat down with him and it really was probably around this time, a few years ago where I just felt like I was drowning. I was like, I need your help. And he's like, okay, what can I help with? And so we really just started kind of divvying stuff up and we talk about it every once in a while again, but it's that thought of, this is our house and our family. It isn't my house and my kids. It's
Right.
our house, it's our family. He works, I work. We both have it. I'm home with my kids, but I also work while they're here, which is even harder than him getting to leave the house and go to work.
Right.
And
Right.
so I just tell her, and so there's things. I don't put away any of the clothes anymore. I wash all the laundry, I fold all the laundry. He takes care of that. He does all the dishes. He does all sorts of stuff that now is something off my plate. And I think as moms, we just think all the time that we need to do it all and we should be able to do it all. And you shouldn't. You were never meant to do it all. So ask for help, get your husband involved, and stop trying to do it all because
Right.
there isn't a way to do it all without feeling constantly burnt out.
Right, that's true. That's true. So let's talk about your work life balance. Because I mean, you have multiple business. So how you juggle all of that with, and still keep your sanity?
Yeah. I mean, I feel when we had our little talk before we hopped on here about, is there such thing as balance? I don't know that there is. It's again, you got to find what works for you. Do I have a perfect system down? Nope. But but you also, for me, it's prioritizing what really matters. For me, it's being here for my kids, which is why a big reason why I chose to be a business owner was that I wanted to be home with my kids. Now I understand not everybody has that, and a lot of people have to work out of the home away from their kids, and that's great too. This is what works for me and my family. But prioritizing what really matters is, getting done what I need to in the day and then spending that time with my kids. There is a balance. Do I work more than I'd like to some days? Yep, a lot of times,
Hmm.
but also,
Right.
I am in the starting year of building some of these businesses. And so for me right now, it looks like working more because I'm getting businesses up and running. Um, but it's just finding that balance of what is important to you. The thing that is important to me is never missing stuff for my kids when they have events at school. I'm there when they, have birthday parties. I'm the one that takes them, just things like that. And
Yeah.
so there's
Right.
there's balance in
Right.
doing what I want to do and building these businesses, which I love and is my passion, but then also finding the time to spend with my kids. And so it's really just about what works best for you and accepting that isn't going to look like what it looks like for somebody else, which is okay.
Well, I was going to ask a question about like some stay-at-home moms, that feel overwhelmed, but they want to do something to, contribute to their, you know, to help the household. So how would you advise or probably tell them what you did in order to start your business as well as, being a full-time mom with a child at
Yeah.
home. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would say do it. Stop waiting. If you have a passion for something and you want to start a business, first of all, it has to be something you're passionate about. Part a lot of Facebook groups about entrepreneurs and business stuff and people are like, I want to start a business. What makes money? You're like, well, we need to make money, sure, but it has to be something you're passionate about. All the
Right.
things I do, my crafting, my helping moms, my organizing is passion, so it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't,
Right.
so have it be something you're passionate about. But then, one of my big things, I'm actually in a coaching program where I, learn stuff about the coaching business and we talk a lot about just taking messy action. A lot of times the things that holds us back is I think just people in general, but as women and moms is feeling like we need to have it all figured out to start. But we don't. As a mom, we don't have it figured out, and we jump in, you know, head first anyways. As an entrepreneur, a lot of times you just have to start and start talking about it and networking with people and just do it and take that messy action and everything takes time. Nothing generally comes
Right.
really quick. It
Yes.
all takes time, but it's
Yes.
worth it. It's, being an entrepreneur is quite the roller coaster, but I've been doing it for a long time and I wouldn't change it for anything. I love it.
Right. Right. No, if you could magically eliminate one universal struggle from moms, what would it be?
uh Figuring out what to make for dinner every night.
Yeah. Honestly, that sometimes that can be a bit overwhelming too.
Again, honestly,
Yeah.
just last week I did some just kind of a little market research and reached out on some mom groups on Facebook
Mm.
and said, what is the thing that you struggle with the most at being a mom? And a lot of it was time, right? Not having enough time to do all the stuff we're supposed to do. But the number one thing people talked about was meal planning. How do we work all day and then come home and take care of the kids and figure out what to make for dinner? And I'm like, oh yeah, right. We're supposed to do all the things and eat healthy and make decent meals and not eat pizza every night, but you're like, it's exhausting. So yes, I mean, honestly, that would if somebody could just be like, here's what you should make and it's healthy for you and
Yeah,
tastes delicious and your kids will eat it without complaining, I would be like,
everybody.
boom, that's amazing.
Yeah, because sometimes you have some they're vegetarian, some don't want dairy products, and it's like, oh my gosh, too much, too
Yeah.
much, too
Yep.
much, too much.
Very much. Yes.
So if your past overwhelmed self could sit down with your present self, what would you say?
hmm Stop trying to do it all yourself. You're not you're not super mom. I think as moms we try. First of all, I think there's a big comparison game a lot, right? You look on Instagram and you think, oh, these moms, they have it all figured out and they're doing it all and I can't barely, breathe today. And I always tell people they don't have it all figured out, no matter what they look like. But I think we just think that we need to do it all ourselves. And kids don't want a perfect mom. Kids want a mom that's present. They want a mom that loves
Right,
themselves, that takes care of themselves, that shows them what it's like to do that. And a lot of that is learning to ask for help and to delegate and to get rid of stuff that doesn't matter. Is really, the older and older I get, the more I look into, you know, what is in my life. Is it serving me? Is it something that builds me up, makes me happy, adds to my life? And if it doesn't, it's like that's done, right? We don't need stuff in our
exactly.
life
Yes,
that
exactly.
doesn't contribute to it. So I think that's, a big thing in life.
Yes, yes, yes. So what legacy do you hope to leave behind? Not just as a mom, but as a person. What's your legacy?
For sure. My big thing is I always think of my kids, how I want them to look at me, and I just want them to look at me as a mom, and even outside of being a mom, as a person who went after my dreams and still was able to show up as that present mom that I want to be. I want them to know that I was a good mom, but that I didn't put my own life and my own dreams on hold because of them. And I love running these businesses and getting to show them that I still get to be an awesome mom, but that my dreams do matter and that my happiness matters. And I want them to know that because I want them to have that same thing when they're older, to know that the things that they want matter and that you can be an amazing mom while still chasing after your dreams and your own happiness too.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. That was beautiful. So, how can my listeners get in touch with you? Would you-
Absolutely. So my website is simplysallyco.com. All three of my businesses are on there. I am on Facebook and Instagram. All three, I have 3 pages for each. They're all Simply Sally. So Simply Sally Coaching, Simply Sally Organizing, and Simply Sally Creations.
Okay.
Yeah, you can follow me on any of
All
those.
right. All right. So, thank you so much, Sally, for bringing your wisdom, your laughter, and real talk to the show. You know, all of us need to remember happiness is always, always to be found at the top of our to-do list.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. The pleasure was mine.